The penguin's body covered in thousands of barnacles. What the surfer did left everyone speechless. The crisp morning air swept across the Patagonian coast as experienced surfer Ryan Carter paddled through the crystalline waters. The golden sun was just beginning to peek over the horizon, casting shimmering reflections across the pristine surface. For Ryan, these early morning surfing sessions were more than just a hobby. They were a sacred ritual, a moment of communion with the ocean and its inhabitants. If this story caught your attention, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give it a like. Let us know which city you're watching us from. Stay tuned. The waves rolled gently beneath his board as he scanned the horizon for the perfect break. He was accustomed to sharing these waters with seals and other marine creatures, their presence a familiar comfort in his daily routine. The solitude of these morning sessions allowed him to connect with the ocean in ways that few could understand. As he paddled toward a promising new spot, something unusual caught his attention. In the distance, a peculiar movement disrupted the natural rhythm of the waves. Ryan narrowed his eyes, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. A king penguin was swimming in frantic circles, its behavior notably different from anything he had witnessed in his years of surfing these waters. The penguin's movements were erratic yet purposeful, creating patterns that seemed almost deliberate. Unlike the usual confident glides of these magnificent birds, this one's swimming style betrayed an urgency that made Ryan's heart quicken. He had developed an intuitive understanding of marine life behavior over the years, and something about this situation felt different, almost like a cry for help. Curiosity got the better of him as he slowly paddled closer to investigate. To his surprise, the penguin didn't flee as these birds typically did when humans approached. Instead, it moved toward him before retreating, only to repeat the pattern again and again. The behavior was so unusual that Ryan found himself completely captivated by the mysterious dance. "What's going on with you?" he whispered, more to himself than the bird. The penguin's eyes seemed to lock with his, and in that moment Ryan felt an inexplicable connection. Years of experience in these waters had taught him to trust his instincts, and right now every fiber of his being told him that something extraordinary was unfolding. The penguin continued its strange ritual, swimming away before returning, as if beckoning Ryan to follow. Each movement seemed calculated, patient yet insistent. The bird would pause at regular intervals, turning to ensure that Ryan was still following, its behavior so intentional that it defied explanation. As they ventured further from the shore, Ryan began to question his decision. The familiar coastline was growing distant, and they were entering waters he had never explored before. The logical part of his mind suggested turning back, but something stronger, an inexplicable pull, urged him to continue following his mysterious guide. The journey led them to a secluded cove, hidden from view by towering cliffs that rose majestically from the water. The natural formation created a sheltered haven, isolated from the open ocean's stronger currents. As they entered this hidden sanctuary, Ryan's breath caught in his throat at what he discovered. There, floating almost motionless in the protected waters, was another king penguin. But this was unlike any sight Ryan had encountered in all his years on the ocean. The bird's body was almost completely encased in a thick layer of barnacles, the crusty growth covering nearly every inch except for its head and neck. The sight was both fascinating and deeply disturbing. The first penguin, which had so deliberately led Ryan to this spot, now circled its struggling companion. Soft, guttural sounds emanated from the smaller bird, a communication that seemed to carry both distress and reassurance. The scene before him spoke of a bond that transcended simple animal instinct. This was something far more profound. As Ryan observed the two birds, his mind raced with the implications of what he was witnessing. The barnacle-covered penguin's labored breathing was evident, each movement a struggle against the weight of its unwanted armor. The smaller penguin's dedication to its companion was unwavering, its presence a constant source of support and encouragement. Ryan reached for the emergency knife he always carried with him, a tool he had never expected to use in quite this way. The weight of the moment pressed upon him as he realized he might be these creatures' only hope. The healthy penguin watched his every move, its eyes seeming to hold both hope and apprehension as Ryan prepared to attempt something he had never done before. The morning sun now hung higher in the sky, casting sharp shadows across the secluded cove as Ryan carefully positioned himself near the distressed penguin. His heart raced as he assessed the situation before him. The barnacles had created an almost impenetrable shell around the bird's body, a sight that both fascinated and troubled him. Each movement of the penguin was labored, its breathing becoming more strained with each passing moment. The smaller penguin continued its vigilant circling, never straying far from its companion. Its soft, encouraging sounds echoed off the cliff walls, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere in the hidden cove. Ryan couldn't help but be moved by the unwavering loyalty displayed before him. These weren't just random birds. They shared a connection that spoke of something deeper, more profound than mere survival instinct. With trembling hands, Ryan gripped his emergency knife, its small blade suddenly seeming inadequate for the task ahead. The barnacles had formed a thick, calcified layer that would require both strength and extreme precision to remove. One wrong move could harm the already weakened bird. The responsibility weighed heavily on his shoulders as he contemplated the best approach. "Easy there," he whispered soothingly, more to steady his own nerves than to calm the penguin. The larger bird's eyes met his, and in that moment, Ryan saw something that strengthened his resolve. A quiet acceptance, almost as if the creature understood his intentions. The smaller penguin had stopped its circling and now watched intently, its presence both guardian and witness to this unusual intervention. Ryan began his delicate work, carefully selecting a spot on the bird's chest where the barnacle growth seemed less dense. The knife's edge found purchase between the crustaceans, and with painstaking precision he began to pry them loose. Each barnacle required careful attention, the process slow and methodical to avoid causing any harm to the penguin beneath. As he worked, sweat beginning to bead on his forehead, despite the cool morning air, Ryan's mind raced with questions. How had this magnificent creature ended up in such a state? King penguins were usually adept at maintaining their sleek plumage, their daily grooming rituals preventing any such accumulation. Something had clearly interfered with this natural process, weakening the bird to the point where it could no longer care for itself. The smaller penguin remained close, occasionally emitting soft sounds that seemed to comfort its struggling companion. Ryan found himself talking quietly as he worked, explaining each movement before he made it, as if the birds could understand his words. "Just a bit more here," he would murmur, or "this might be uncomfortable, but it'll help." The routine developed its own rhythm, a strange dance between human and avian trust. Time seemed to slow in the sheltered cove as Ryan continued his careful removal of the barnacles. After what felt like hours, but was probably closer to 30 minutes, he had managed to clear a small section of the penguin's chest. The task was far more challenging than he had anticipated, and he could feel fatigue beginning to set in. The tide was rising, making it increasingly difficult to maintain his position while working on the bird. Looking at the small area he had managed to clear, compared to the vast expanse of barnacles still covering the penguin, Ryan realized he needed help. This was beyond what he could accomplish alone, and the bird's condition required professional attention. The weight of this realization pressed against his chest. He would have to leave these creatures to seek assistance, but would the weakened penguin survive the weight? The smaller penguin seemed to sense his hesitation, swimming closer than it had dared before. Its eyes met Ryan's, and in that moment, he felt an understanding pass between them. This loyal companion had sought him out, had led him to this place, had trusted him with its friend's life. Now it was watching, waiting to see if its faith in human intervention would be rewarded. Ryan made his decision. He would need to return to shore and contact the Marine Wildlife Rescue Center he knew operated along this stretch of coast. They would have the proper tools and expertise to handle this unique situation. But first, he needed to ensure he could find this hidden cove again. The cliffs all looked similar from the water, and the entrance was difficult to spot unless you knew exactly where to look. Taking out his waterproof phone, he marked his location on the GPS, making careful note of the distinctive rock formations that marked the entrance to the cove. The smaller penguin watched his every move, as if understanding that he was preparing for something important. Its companion remained floating quietly, the small, cleared patch on its chest, a testament to the morning's efforts and a promise of hope to come. As Ryan prepared to paddle back to shore, he found himself making a silent promise to these remarkable creatures. He would return with help, would see this through to the end. The bond between these two penguins had touched something deep within him, awakening a sense of purpose he hadn't realized he possessed. This was no longer just about helping a distressed animal. It had become something more significant, a testament to the extraordinary connections that existed in the natural world. The journey back to shore seemed to take an eternity, each paddle stroke carrying the weight of urgency. Ryan's wetsuit clung to his body as he cut through the waves with determined strokes, his mind fixed on the two penguins he'd left behind in the hidden cove. The morning had transformed from a routine surfing session into something far more crucial, a race against time to save a creature in desperate need. Upon reaching the shore, Ryan wasted no time in retrieving his emergency radio from his waterproof bag. His hands trembled slightly as he tuned into the frequency used by the local Marine Wildlife Rescue Center. The static crackled through the speaker as he waited for a response, each second feeling like an eternity. Finally, a clear voice broke through. "This is Patagonian Marine Wildlife Rescue. Go ahead," the voice responded professionally. Ryan took a deep breath, organizing his thoughts before explaining the situation. He described the location of the cove, the condition of the barnacle-covered penguin, and the extraordinary behavior of its smaller companion. The urgency in his voice must have conveyed the gravity of the situation. The rescue team's response was immediate and decisive. They assured him they would dispatch a team of veterinarians and marine biologists within the hour. These professionals had experience with similar cases, though they admitted the extent of barnacle coverage Ryan described was unusual. They asked him to return to the cove and monitor the penguins until their arrival. Without hesitation, Ryan paddled back out to sea, his muscles protesting from the morning's exertion. The sun had risen higher now, its rays penetrating the clear waters and illuminating the path ahead. As he approached the hidden cove, anxiety gripped him. Would the penguins still be there? Had he made the right decision in leaving them to get help? His concerns dissipated as he rounded the cliff face and entered the sheltered waters. Both penguins remained where he had left them, the smaller one still maintaining its protective vigil. The sight of their unwavering companionship touched something deep within Ryan's soul. These creatures demonstrated a level of loyalty and dedication that transcended species barriers. The waiting seemed interminable. Ryan floated nearby, speaking softly to the penguins, offering whatever comfort his presence might provide. The barnacle-covered penguin's breathing remained labored but steady, each rise and fall of its chest a testament to its will to survive. Its smaller companion occasionally approached Ryan now, as if checking that this strange ally intended to keep his promise of bringing help. After what seemed like hours, but was closer to 45 minutes, the distinctive sound of an approaching boat engine broke the cove's tranquility. The rescue team had arrived, their specialized vessel equipped with everything needed to handle marine wildlife emergencies. The team consisted of 3 veterinarians and 2 marine biologists, their faces showing both concern and determination as they assessed the situation. The rescue operation proved to be a delicate dance of expertise and patience. The team carefully approached the distressed penguin, their movements slow and deliberate to avoid causing additional stress. They had brought specialized tools for removing the barnacles, far more effective than Ryan's small knife. The smaller penguin watched the proceedings with apparent interest, never straying far from its companion. As the team worked, they discovered something that made the situation even more critical. Beneath the layer of barnacles, they found evidence that the penguin had ingested industrial fishing net material, saturated with toxic chemicals. This discovery explained the bird's weakened state and inability to maintain its natural grooming habits, which had allowed the barnacles to take hold. The veterinarians' faces grew more serious as they conducted their initial examination. The toxins from the fishing net had caused severe damage to the penguin's internal organs, leading to a compromised immune system. The situation was more dire than initially thought, but there was still hope if they could get the bird to their rehabilitation facility quickly. The team decided to transport both penguins together, recognizing the strong bond between them. They carefully lifted the larger penguin onto their boat, using specialized equipment to keep it stable and comfortable. To everyone's amazement, the smaller penguin followed willingly, leaping onto the boat of its own accord, unwilling to be separated from its companion. Ryan watched the rescue operation with a mixture of hope and concern. The team's efficiency and expertise were impressive, but the gravity of the penguin's condition weighed heavily on everyone present. The smaller penguin's devotion continued to amaze all who witnessed it, remaining close to its friend throughout the entire process, offering soft, reassuring sounds whenever the larger bird showed signs of distress. As the rescue boat prepared to depart, one of the veterinarians turned to Ryan with genuine appreciation. His actions that morning, following his instincts, carefully removing some of the barnacles and quickly seeking professional help, had given these penguins their best chance at survival. The bond between these 2 birds had touched everyone present, serving as a powerful reminder of the deep connections that existed in the natural world. The rehabilitation center buzzed with focused energy as the rescue team arrived with their unusual patients. The facility, nestled along the Patagonian coast, was a testament to human dedication to marine wildlife preservation. Its pristine halls and specialized equipment represented hope for countless marine creatures, and now it would become a sanctuary for 2 extraordinary penguins. Ryan had followed the rescue boat in his vehicle, unable to simply return to his regular routine after the morning's events. The center's staff welcomed his presence, recognizing that he had played a crucial role in this rescue. Through the observation window, he watched as veterinarians prepared for the delicate procedure that lay ahead. The examination room was a flurry of activity as the team conducted a more thorough assessment of the barnacle-covered penguin's condition. Advanced imaging equipment revealed the full extent of the fishing net material in the bird's digestive system. The toxic chemicals had caused significant inflammation, and the team knew they needed to act quickly to give their patient the best chance of recovery. What struck everyone present was the smaller penguin's behavior throughout the examination process. The staff had prepared a separate holding area for it, but the bird remained adamantly close to its companion, refusing to be separated. Its presence seemed to have a calming effect on the larger penguin, whose vital signs stabilized whenever its faithful friend was near. The veterinary team began the painstaking process of removing the remaining barnacles, using specialized tools and techniques that minimized stress on their patient. Each cluster of crustaceans required careful attention as the penguin's skin had become sensitive from the prolonged exposure. The smaller penguin watched the procedure intently, occasionally emitting soft sounds that seemed to comfort its struggling friend. As the layers of barnacles were gradually removed, the true magnificence of the king penguin began to emerge. Its natural plumage, though damaged, showed hints of the brilliant colors and patterns that made these birds such remarkable creatures. The team worked tirelessly, taking breaks only when necessary, their dedication matching the unwavering loyalty displayed by the smaller penguin. Ryan spent hours at the center, documenting the process with his camera. Each image captured not just the medical procedure, but the extraordinary relationship between these two birds. The staff shared his amazement at their bond, noting that such dedicated companionship was rare even among social species like penguins. The most critical moment came when the surgical team prepared to remove the fishing net material from the penguin's digestive system. The procedure was delicate and complex, requiring all of their expertise and precision. The smaller penguin became noticeably agitated during this time, as if sensing the gravity of the situation. The staff allowed it to remain nearby, recognizing that its presence was as important to the recovery as their medical intervention. Throughout the procedure, the team discovered the full impact of the industrial fishing net on the penguin's health. The material had leached toxic substances into the bird's system, causing extensive damage to its internal organs. However, they also found signs of incredible resilience. The penguin's body had begun developing natural defenses against the toxins, fighting to survive despite the overwhelming odds. The surgery proved successful, but everyone knew this was just the beginning of a long recovery process. The team established a comprehensive treatment plan that included specialized medications to combat the toxins, physical therapy to help restore the penguin's natural movement patterns, and careful monitoring of its vital functions. Through it all, the smaller penguin remained a constant presence, its dedication unwavering. Ryan found himself returning to the center daily, drawn by both professional interest and personal investment in these remarkable birds' journey. He began helping with various tasks, learning more about marine wildlife rehabilitation from the dedicated staff. Each visit revealed new aspects of the penguins' personalities and the depth of their connection. The Rehabilitation Center's team was equally fascinated by the case. They began documenting every aspect of the recovery process, recognizing that this unique situation could provide valuable insights into both the effects of marine pollution and the social bonds of penguins. The smaller penguins' extraordinary behavior challenged their understanding of avian relationships, suggesting levels of emotional intelligence that exceeded their previous observations. As days turned into weeks, the center became more than just a medical facility for these two penguins. It became a symbol of hope and resilience. The staff's dedication, combined with the unwavering loyalty of the smaller penguin, created an environment where healing seemed not just possible, but inevitable. The story of these two birds began to spread throughout the local community, touching hearts and raising awareness about the impact of marine pollution on wildlife. Each passing day at the Rehabilitation Center brought new signs of progress in the recovering penguin's condition. The removal of the barnacles had revealed extensive damage to its natural waterproof coating, but slowly, with proper care and treatment, its feathers began to regain their natural luster. The veterinary team maintained a careful balance of treatments, monitoring every small change in their patient's condition with measured optimism. The smaller penguin had become something of a celebrity among the center's staff, its unwavering dedication touching everyone who witnessed it. During treatment sessions, it would position itself where its companion could easily see it, offering constant reassurance through soft vocalizations. The staff had never seen such consistent supportive behavior in their years of wildlife rehabilitation, and they began documenting this extraordinary relationship in detail. Ryan's daily visits had become an integral part of the recovery process. His camera captured the gradual transformation of the injured penguin, from its initial critical state to each small victory in its healing journey. Through his lens, he documented moments that spoke volumes about the resilience of nature and the power of companionship. The first time the recovering penguin managed to stand independently, the gentle encouragement from its smaller companion, the careful ministrations of the medical team. The toxicology reports showed a gradual decrease in the levels of harmful chemicals in the penguin's system. The specialized treatments were working, though the process was slower than everyone hoped. The veterinary team explained that the industrial fishing net had contained particularly harmful substances, and the bird's body needed time to process and eliminate these toxins naturally. During physical therapy sessions, the smaller penguin would often demonstrate the movements they wanted its companion to perform, as if understanding the goals of the rehabilitation process. The staff were amazed by this behavior, noting how it seemed to accelerate the recovering penguin's progress. Whether swimming in the specially designed pool or practicing basic movements, the smaller bird remained an ever-present guide and motivator. The rehabilitation center had become more than just a medical facility. It was now a place where an extraordinary story of survival and friendship unfolded daily. Local marine biology students began visiting to observe and learn from this unique case. The connection between the two penguins challenged their understanding of avian behavior and social bonds, providing valuable insights into the emotional complexity of these remarkable creatures. Ryan found himself drawn into conversations with the center's researchers, sharing his observations and learning more about marine wildlife conservation. His morning encounter with the penguins had sparked a deeper interest in marine biology, and he began spending more time studying the scientific aspects of penguin behavior and ocean ecosystems. The staff appreciated his genuine interest and willingness to learn, sharing their knowledge and experience freely. The recovering penguin's strength improved steadily, though setbacks occasionally occurred. During these challenging moments, the smaller penguin's presence proved invaluable. Its constant companionship seemed to provide comfort and motivation, helping its friend through the most difficult phases of recovery. The medical team noted that the patient's vital signs were consistently better when its faithful companion was nearby. As weeks passed, the rehabilitation center's pool became a crucial part of the recovery process. Here, the injured penguin could practice swimming movements in a controlled environment, gradually rebuilding its strength and stamina. The smaller penguin would swim alongside, matching its pace to its companion's abilities, demonstrating remarkable patience and understanding. The staff began documenting every aspect of this unusual partnership, recognizing that it could provide valuable insights into wildlife rehabilitation techniques. The smaller penguin's role in the recovery process was unprecedented, challenging traditional approaches to animal care and rehabilitation. Its intuitive understanding of its companion's needs suggested levels of empathy that many had thought impossible in avian species. Throughout this period, Ryan's camera captured countless moments of interaction between the two birds. Gentle nudges of encouragement, synchronized swimming patterns, quiet moments of rest where they would simply stay close to each other. These images began telling a story that transcended simple animal behavior, speaking to something more fundamental about connection and loyalty in the natural world. The local community's interest in the penguin's story grew as news spread about their extraordinary bond. People would gather at the center's observation windows, watching in wonder as the smaller penguin guided its recovering companion through daily exercises. Children pressed their faces against the glass, enchanted by the display of friendship and dedication they witnessed. The penguin's story was becoming a powerful symbol of hope and resilience in the face of adversity. The rehabilitation center had transformed into a hub of scientific observation and discovery. Researchers from various marine biology institutions began visiting to witness the extraordinary bond between the two penguins. The smaller penguin's unwavering dedication to its recovering companion had become a phenomenon that challenged existing understanding of avian behavior and emotional intelligence. During therapy sessions, the medical team observed patterns of interaction that defied conventional knowledge. The smaller penguin had developed an almost intuitive sense of when its companion needed rest, producing soft, distinct vocalizations that the staff began to recognize as different forms of communication. When the recovering penguin showed signs of fatigue, its loyal friend would position itself between the medical team and its companion, as if requesting a break in the exercises. Ryan's documentation of these interactions became increasingly valuable to the researchers. His photographs and videos captured subtle nuances in the penguin's behavior that might otherwise have gone unnoticed. The way the smaller penguin would tilt its head when its companion made progress, the gentle nudges it would give during physical therapy, the synchronized swimming patterns they developed in the rehabilitation pool. Each moment added to the growing body of evidence suggesting sophisticated levels of emotional intelligence. The recovering penguin's progress continued steadily, though the path wasn't always smooth. Some days brought remarkable achievements: the first time it managed to dive properly in the pool, or when it successfully preened its feathers without assistance. Other days revealed the lingering effects of its ordeal, when fatigue would set in quickly or its movements would become unsteady. Through it all, the smaller penguin remained steadfast, adapting its support to whatever its companion needed. The rehabilitation pool had become a special place for both birds. Here, in the controlled environment of the facility, they could engage in natural behaviors that strengthened their bond. The staff observed how the smaller penguin would demonstrate proper swimming techniques, showing patience that seemed almost human-like when its companion struggled. During these sessions, their synchronized movements created a beautiful display of trust and cooperation. As news of the penguins spread, the center began receiving visits from environmental activists and conservation groups. The story of these two birds provided powerful evidence of the impact of industrial fishing practices on marine wildlife. The toxic chemicals found in the fishing net that had nearly claimed the larger penguin's life became a rallying point for those fighting against ocean pollution. Ryan's photographs, showing the contrast between the penguin's initial condition and its gradual recovery, served as compelling testimony to both the dangers facing marine life and the possibility of healing. The veterinary team continued their careful monitoring, noting how the toxin levels in the recovering penguin system were gradually decreasing. Each positive test result was celebrated by the staff, who had become deeply invested in this unique case. The smaller penguin seemed to sense these moments of celebration, displaying increased activity and vocalizations that the team began to associate with positive developments in its companion's recovery. Physical therapy sessions evolved to include more challenging exercises as the recovering penguin gained strength. The medical team designed activities that would help restore its natural abilities while being careful not to overtax its healing system. Throughout these sessions, the smaller penguin remained an active participant, often anticipating the next step in the routine and encouraging its companion through difficult moments. The rehabilitation center's staff had learned to work around the smaller penguin's protective nature. They discovered that including it in treatment procedures actually enhanced their effectiveness. When taking blood samples or performing examinations, they found that the recovering penguin remained calmer and more cooperative when its companion was actively involved in the process. This revelation led to adjustments in their treatment protocols, acknowledging the therapeutic value of the bird's bond. Local marine biology students began conducting supervised studies of the penguins' behavior, documenting every aspect of their interaction. Their observations contributed to a growing understanding of the complexity of penguins' social structures and emotional capacity. The smaller penguin's ability to anticipate and respond to its companion's needs suggested levels of empathy and social intelligence that challenged existing scientific literature. Ryan found himself increasingly drawn into the scientific aspects of the case. His artistic eye for capturing crucial moments complemented the researcher's technical observations. Through his lens, he documented subtle changes in behavior, physical improvements, and the countless small moments of connection between the two birds. His growing collection of images and videos became a valuable resource for both scientific study and public education about marine wildlife conservation. As weeks turned into months, the rehabilitation center had become more than just a medical facility. It was now a place where the boundaries of understanding animal behavior were being pushed daily. The story of these two penguins had captured the imagination of both the scientific community and the public, demonstrating that there was still much to learn about the emotional lives of marine creatures. The story of the two penguins had spread beyond the confines of the rehabilitation center, touching hearts throughout the coastal community. Local fishermen, moved by the tale of loyalty and survival, began reporting and collecting discarded fishing nets they found during their daily routes. The community's response to the penguins' plight had sparked a grassroots movement for marine conservation that no one had anticipated. The rehabilitation center had become a focal point for environmental education. School groups regularly visited to learn about marine wildlife and the importance of ocean conservation. The children were particularly captivated by the smaller penguins' dedication, their young minds grasping the simple truth that transcended species barriers, the power of compassion and loyalty. Teachers reported that students returned to their classrooms inspired to start environmental projects of their own. Ryan's involvement had evolved far beyond his initial role as a witness to the rescue. His daily documentation of the penguins' journey had produced a compelling visual narrative that spoke to audiences worldwide. Local news outlets began featuring his photographs, using them to illustrate the broader issues of marine pollution and wildlife conservation. Each image told a story of resilience, hope, and the extraordinary bonds that could form in nature. The recovering penguin's progress continued to surprise and inspire the medical team. Its strength had improved significantly, and the toxic levels in its system had decreased to manageable levels. The bird could now swim for longer periods, its movements becoming more natural and fluid with each passing day. The smaller penguin remained in constant presence, its supportive behavior never wavering, demonstrating a dedication that amazed even the most experienced wildlife specialists. During physical therapy sessions, the staff noticed how the two penguins had developed their own form of communication. The smaller one would emit specific sounds that seemed to encourage its companion during challenging exercises. When the recovering penguin successfully completed a difficult task, its friend would respond with what appeared to be celebratory movements, creating moments of joy that lifted the spirits of everyone present. The rehabilitation pool had become a stage for displaying the remarkable partnership between the two birds. Their synchronized swimming sessions had evolved into beautiful demonstrations of coordination and trust. The recovering penguin, though still building its strength, would follow its companion's lead through various exercises, their movements becoming increasingly harmonious. These sessions drew small crowds of staff and visitors, all watching in respectful silence as this natural ballet unfolded. Local marine biologists had begun incorporating the penguin's case study into their research on avian behavior and intelligence. The smaller penguin's ability to adapt its support based on its companion's changing needs suggested levels of emotional intelligence that challenged existing theories. Researchers spent hours observing and documenting these interactions, their findings contributing to a growing body of work on animal consciousness and empathy. The community's involvement in the penguin's recovery had grown stronger with each passing week. Local businesses donated supplies to the rehabilitation center, while environmental groups organized beach cleanup events inspired by the penguin's story. The fishing industry, touched by the impact of their practices on marine life, began exploring more sustainable methods and supporting conservation initiatives. Ryan's daily presence at the center had made him an integral part of the rehabilitation team. His careful documentation of the recovery process provided valuable insights for the medical staff, while his artistic eye captured moments that spoke to the emotional depth of the penguin's bond. His photographs had become powerful tools for education and advocacy, showing both the devastating effects of marine pollution and the inspiring possibility of recovery. The smaller penguin's unwavering dedication had become legendary among the staff. Even during brief separations for medical procedures, it would maintain visual contact with its companion, producing soft vocalizations that seemed to provide reassurance. The medical team had learned to work around this protective behavior, recognizing that the bird's connection was an essential component of the healing process. As the rehabilitation progressed, the center had become a symbol of hope and possibility. Visitors from neighboring communities would travel to witness the extraordinary partnership between the two penguins, often leaving with a deeper appreciation for marine life and a stronger commitment to environmental conservation. The story had touched something fundamental in people's understanding of companionship and loyalty. The local media continued to follow the penguin's journey, their coverage highlighting not just the medical progress, but the broader implications for marine conservation. Each report emphasized how the community had united around this cause, demonstrating how a single act of compassion, a penguin helping its friend, a surfer following his instincts, could spark a movement for positive change. The rehabilitation center buzzed with anticipation as the veterinary team gathered for their morning assessment. After months of intensive care and dedicated rehabilitation, the recovering penguin had reached a crucial milestone in its journey. The latest test results showed that the toxin levels in its system had dropped significantly, and its physical strength had improved beyond their most optimistic expectations. The transformation was remarkable to everyone who had witnessed the bird's initial condition. Where once there had been a creature struggling for survival beneath a crushing layer of barnacles, now stood a majestic king penguin, its feathers regaining their natural sheen and waterproof properties. The smaller penguin's constant presence and encouragement had played an undeniable role in this recovery, a fact that the medical team acknowledged in their daily reports. As discussions began about the possibility of releasing the penguins back into their natural habitat, the staff faced an unprecedented situation. Typically, rehabilitated animals were released as soon as they were physically capable, but the unique bond between these two penguins added complexity to the decision. The team knew they needed to ensure both birds were ready for the challenges they would face in the wild. Ryan continued his daily visits, his camera capturing the subtle changes in the penguins' behavior as they sensed the shifting energy around them. The recovering penguin's swimming sessions now lasted longer, its movements more confident and precise. Its smaller companion remained vigilant, but had begun encouraging more independent exploration, as if understanding the importance of rebuilding strength and autonomy. The rehabilitation pool became the setting for more advanced exercises designed to simulate conditions in the open ocean. The medical team introduced various challenges, different water currents, diving exercises, and activities that required sustained physical effort. Through each new test, the smaller penguin demonstrated remarkable intuition, knowing when to offer support and when to step back, allowing its companion to build confidence. Environmental enrichment activities became more challenging as the team prepared both birds for their eventual return to the wild. They introduced artificial waves and varying water temperatures in the rehabilitation pool, carefully monitoring how both penguins adapted to these changes. The recovering penguin's responses grew stronger and more assured with each passing day, while its loyal friend remained a constant source of encouragement and support. The local community's involvement had grown even stronger during this phase of rehabilitation. Marine biology students volunteered to assist with the preparation exercises, while local fishermen provided insights about current ocean conditions and penguin colony movements along the coast. The collective knowledge helped the team design more effective rehabilitation protocols that would better prepare the birds for their return to the wild. Ryan's documentation of this preparatory phase revealed subtle but significant changes in the penguins' interactions. While their bond remained as strong as ever, there was a new dimension to their relationship. The smaller penguin began encouraging more independent exploration, watching from a distance as its companion relearned essential survival skills. These moments, captured through Ryan's lens, told a story of trust and gentle guidance. The rehabilitation center's staff observed how the recovering penguin's confidence grew with each successful exercise. Its diving became more precise, its swimming more efficient, and its responses to environmental changes more natural. The smaller penguin's role evolved from constant protector to supportive companion, demonstrating an extraordinary understanding of its friend's changing needs. Preparations for release required careful consideration of numerous factors. The team studied weather patterns, ocean conditions, and the movements of local penguin colonies to determine the optimal time and location. They wanted to give both birds the best possible chance of successfully reintegrating into their natural habitat while maintaining their unique bond. The community's investment in the penguin's journey had created a network of support that extended far beyond the rehabilitation center. Local boat operators offered to assist with the release, while environmental groups organized educational programs to raise awareness about marine conservation. The penguin's story had become a catalyst for positive change in how the community approached wildlife protection. Throughout this preparation phase, the smaller penguin's dedication never wavered. It participated in every exercise, adapted to each new challenge, and continued to provide emotional support to its recovering companion. The staff marveled at how this extraordinary partnership had evolved, demonstrating levels of cooperation and understanding that challenged their previous conceptions of avian behavior. The morning sun cast long shadows across the rehabilitation center's outdoor facilities as the team prepared for a crucial phase in the penguin's journey. After months of careful preparation, they were ready to begin controlled exposure to natural ocean conditions. A specially designed enclosure had been constructed in a protected bay, allowing the birds to experience real ocean currents while remaining under close observation. The transport to the bay enclosure marked a significant milestone in the recovery process. Both penguins were carefully moved in specialized containers, their vital signs monitored throughout the journey. The smaller penguin remained remarkably calm during the transfer, as if understanding the importance of this next step. Its recovering companion showed signs of nervous energy, but the familiar presence of its friend helped maintain its composure. Upon reaching the bay, the team carefully introduced the penguins to their new temporary environment. The enclosure was spacious, allowing for natural swimming patterns while ensuring the birds remained protected. The moment the penguins entered the water, something remarkable happened. The recovering penguin, initially hesitant, seemed to come alive in the natural ocean water. Its movements became more fluid, more instinctive, as if awakening to long-dormant memories. The smaller penguin's behavior during this transition phase fascinated the observation team. It demonstrated an almost teaching-like approach, showing its companion how to navigate the stronger currents and varying depths of the natural environment. Their synchronized swimming, which had become familiar in the rehabilitation pool, took on new dimensions in the ocean waters. The staff watched in amazement as the pair adapted their movements to match the ocean's rhythms. Ryan spent hours documenting this new phase of their journey. His camera captured the subtle differences in their behavior as they encountered natural stimuli, the way they responded to changing tides, their interaction with small fish that entered the enclosure, their reactions to the sounds and movements of the open ocean. Each image told part of a larger story of readaptation and resilience. The medical team conducted regular health assessments, monitoring how both birds responded to the natural environment. The recovering penguin's strength continued to improve, its movements becoming more confident with each passing day. Blood tests showed stable vital signs, and its feathers had fully regained their waterproof properties, crucial for survival in the ocean. Local marine biologists used this opportunity to study how the penguin's bond evolved in a more natural setting. They observed that while the smaller penguin remained protective, it began encouraging more independent exploration. When its companion successfully navigated a challenging current or caught a fish, the smaller penguin would respond with what appeared to be encouraging vocalizations, celebrating each small victory. The community's involvement remained strong during this phase. Local fishermen helped monitor ocean conditions, providing valuable insights about weather patterns and marine life movements. School groups visited the observation platform, learning about marine conservation while witnessing the extraordinary partnership between the two penguins. Their story continued to inspire environmental awareness and action throughout the region. As days passed, the rehabilitation team began gradually extending the enclosed area, allowing the penguins to explore larger spaces while remaining protected. The recovering penguin's confidence grew visibly with each expansion. Its diving became deeper, its movements more assured, and its interaction with the natural environment more natural. Through it all, the smaller penguin remained a constant presence, offering support when needed but also stepping back to allow for independent growth. The bay enclosure tests provided valuable data about both birds' readiness for full release. The team observed how they handled different weather conditions, their responses to various marine life, and their ability to maintain their bond while adapting to natural challenges. Each successful adaptation brought them closer to the ultimate goal of returning to the wild. Ryan's documentation of this phase captured moments that spoke to both the challenges and triumphs of their journey. His photographs showed the penguins navigating rough waters together, sharing quiet moments in the calmer areas of the enclosure, and displaying their growing confidence in their natural environment. These images became powerful symbols of hope and resilience for the conservation community. The smaller penguin's role continued to evolve during this period. While maintaining its protective instincts, it began displaying behaviors that encouraged independence in its companion. The medical team noted how it would create situations that allowed the recovering penguin to problem solve on its own, always remaining nearby but allowing for crucial learning experiences. The coastal winds carried the salty scent of freedom as the rehabilitation team gathered for their final series of assessments. After weeks of successful adaptation in the bay enclosure, both penguins had demonstrated remarkable progress. The recovering penguin now moved through the water with the grace and confidence that characterized its species, while its smaller companion continued to demonstrate extraordinary supportive behaviors that had captivated researchers throughout their journey. The team had carefully selected the perfect day for the final phase of preparation. Weather conditions were ideal, with calm seas and clear skies predicted for the coming week. Local fishing boats had reported healthy fish populations in the area, and several king penguin colonies had been spotted nearby, creating optimal conditions for the pair's eventual release. Ryan arrived early that morning, his camera ready to document these crucial moments. The sight that greeted him at the bay enclosure reinforced how far they had come. Both penguins were engaged in natural foraging behaviors, their movements fluid and purposeful. The recovering penguin, once struggling for survival beneath a crushing layer of barnacles, now displayed the majestic bearing of a healthy king penguin. The final medical examinations yielded encouraging results. Blood tests showed no trace of the toxic substances that had once threatened the penguin's life. Its muscle strength had fully returned, and its feathers had regained their natural waterproof properties. The veterinary team noted with satisfaction that both birds maintained healthy weights and showed excellent physical condition. During these last days in the enclosure, the smaller penguin's behavior continued to fascinate observers. It had developed a pattern of gradually increasing the distance between itself and its companion during their swimming sessions, as if preparing both of them for more independent movement in the open ocean. Yet their bond remained strong, demonstrated through periodic check-ins and synchronized swimming that had become their signature behavior. The rehabilitation team implemented their final series of tests, designed to ensure both birds were ready for life in the wild. They introduced various challenges that mimicked natural obstacles and situations the penguins might encounter. The recovering penguin handled each challenge with growing confidence, while its companion remained supportive but increasingly allowed for independent problem-solving. Local marine biology students gathered data during these final tests, documenting every aspect of the penguin's behavior. Their observations would contribute to a growing body of research on avian intelligence and social bonds. The unique relationship between these two birds had challenged existing understanding of penguin behavior and opened new avenues for studying animal relationships. The community's involvement reached its peak during this final phase. Local environmental groups organized educational programs around the penguin's story, using their journey to highlight the importance of marine conservation. Fishermen's associations implemented new guidelines for responsible fishing practices, inspired by the devastating effects of industrial fishing nets that had nearly claimed the penguin's life. Ryan's documentation of these final preparation days captured the subtle but significant changes in the penguins' relationship. While their bond remained unbreakable, there was a new dimension to their interaction. The smaller penguin had evolved from a protective guardian to a supportive partner, encouraging independence while maintaining their deep connection. The rehabilitation center's staff found themselves emotionally invested in these final moments. Many had been present since the dramatic rescue months ago, witnessing every step of the recovery journey. The penguin's story had transformed their understanding of wildlife rehabilitation and the capacity for healing in the natural world. Throughout the facility, preparations for release were underway. Specialized tracking devices had been carefully attached to both birds, allowing researchers to monitor their movements after release. The data would provide valuable insights into their adaptation to the wild and their ability to maintain their bond in natural conditions. The team meticulously checked every detail, determined to give these extraordinary birds the best possible chance for a successful return to their ocean home. As the final day of preparation drew to a close, the atmosphere at the rehabilitation center was charged with anticipation. The penguins' journey had touched countless lives, from the local community to the international conservation community. Their story had become a powerful symbol of resilience, loyalty, and the remarkable capacity for healing when nature and human dedication work together. Dawn broke over the Patagonian coast, painting the sky in brilliant shades of pink and gold. A small flotilla of boats gathered in the protected bay, their occupants speaking in hushed tones as the rehabilitation team made their final preparations. Today marked the culmination of months of dedication, hope, and extraordinary partnership, the day the penguins would return to their ocean home. The release had been meticulously planned to give the birds the best possible chance of success. The team had chosen a location near active king penguin colonies, where ocean conditions were favorable and food sources were abundant. Local fishing boats had volunteered to maintain a wide berth around the area for several days, creating a safe zone for the penguins to readjust to complete freedom. Ryan positioned himself on the lead boat, his camera poised to capture these historic moments. The memory of that first morning, when he had followed a frantic penguin to its struggling companion, felt both distant and immediate. Now, months later, he would document the final chapter of their extraordinary journey. His photographs would tell a story of healing, dedication, and the remarkable bonds that could form between living creatures. The smaller penguin remained close to its companion as they were carefully transferred to the release boat. Their behavior during transport displayed the same synchronized movements that had characterized their relationship throughout rehabilitation. Even now, on the brink of returning to the wild, their connection remained palpable. As the boat reached the designated release point, the team performed one last health check. The recovering penguin's vital signs were strong, its posture alert and confident. The smaller penguin maintained its protective yet encouraging presence, both birds seemingly aware of the momentous change about to occur. The tracking devices, subtle and secure, would allow researchers to monitor their journey without interference. The moment of release was handled with gentle efficiency. The team had designed a special platform that would allow the penguins to enter the water at their own pace. As the platform was lowered, everyone on the boats held their breath, watching as these remarkable birds faced their final challenge. The smaller penguin made the first move, slipping gracefully into the ocean waters. It immediately turned back toward its companion, emitting soft vocalizations that had become familiar to the rehabilitation team. The recovering penguin paused briefly at the platform's edge, its head held high, surveying the open water before it. Then, with a confident movement, it joined its faithful friend in the ocean. What followed brought tears to the eyes of even the most experienced team members. The penguins began swimming in their characteristic synchronized pattern, but this time in ever-widening circles around the boats. Each circuit took them further into open water, yet they remained perfectly coordinated, their movements a beautiful display of trust and partnership. The gathered boats maintained their position, their occupants watching in respectful silence as the penguins explored their expanded freedom. The birds would periodically dive beneath the surface, emerging with small fish, a demonstration of their readiness for independent life. Yet they always returned to swimming together, their bond evident in every movement. Ryan's camera captured these precious moments, the initial release, the synchronized swimming, the gradually expanding circles of exploration. Each image would serve as a testament to the success of the rehabilitation effort and the extraordinary relationship between these two birds. His photographs would continue to inspire conservation efforts and remind people of the remarkable capacity for healing in the natural world. The smaller penguin's behavior during these first moments of freedom amazed the observing scientists. It maintained its supportive role while simultaneously encouraging its companion's independence, demonstrating an intelligence and emotional sophistication that would be studied for years to come. Their interaction provided new insights into the complexity of animal relationships and the capacity for bonds that transcended simple instinct. As the morning progressed, The penguins' circles grew larger, their dives longer. They began interacting with their natural environment more confidently, investigating underwater currents and practicing their hunting skills. Yet they remained somehow connected, their movements coordinated even as they explored independently. The rehabilitation team watched with pride as months of careful work culminated in this beautiful display of successful recovery. The release of the penguins marked not an ending, but a transformation, both for the birds themselves and for the community that had supported their journey. In the days following their return to the ocean, the tracking devices revealed an inspiring story of successful adaptation. The pair remained together, their movements indicating healthy foraging behavior as they integrated into the larger penguin community along the Patagonian coast. Ryan's commitment to marine conservation had deepened through his experience with the penguins. He transformed his career, dedicating himself entirely to documenting and protecting marine life. His photographs of the penguins' journey became powerful tools for environmental education, featured in exhibitions that traveled throughout South America and beyond. Each image told part of their remarkable story, from the desperate rescue to the triumphant return to the ocean. The Rehabilitation Center experienced its own transformation. The successful rehabilitation of the barnacle-covered penguin and the extraordinary dedication of its companion had provided valuable insights into wildlife recovery. The team developed new protocols based on their observations, incorporating the importance of social bonds in the rehabilitation process. Their findings influenced wildlife rehabilitation practices worldwide. Local fishing communities, moved by the penguin's story, embraced more sustainable fishing practices. They implemented new guidelines for net disposal and actively participated in ocean cleanup initiatives. The sight of those toxic fishing nets nearly claiming a penguin's life had sparked a lasting change in how they approached their relationship with the ocean. The tracking data continued to tell an extraordinary story. The penguins had successfully joined a larger colony while maintaining their unique bond. Researchers observed how they would split up for foraging but always reunite, their connection evident in their synchronized swimming patterns that had become their signature behavior. Their success in the wild proved that rehabilitation, when done with patience and understanding, could lead to full recovery. Students from local schools regularly visited the Rehabilitation Center, learning about marine conservation through the penguin's story. The children were particularly moved by the smaller penguin's dedication to its friend, understanding that loyalty and compassion knew no species boundaries. Their story inspired a new generation of environmental stewards, eager to protect the ocean and its inhabitants. The scientific community continued to study the data from this remarkable case. The smaller penguin's intuitive understanding of its companion's needs, its ability to adjust its support throughout the rehabilitation process, and their successful reintegration into the wild challenged existing theories about avian intelligence and emotional capacity. Their story became the subject of research papers and conferences, contributing to a broader understanding of animal behavior. Ryan's daily visits to the coast took on new meaning. Though he could no longer see the penguins, he knew they were out there, living the free life they were meant to have. His camera now captured other stories of marine life, but he never forgot the lesson he learned from those two remarkable birds. That sometimes the greatest acts of healing come through the simple presence of a devoted friend. The community's connection to marine conservation had grown stronger through this experience. Local businesses sponsored beach cleanups, schools integrated marine biology into their curriculum, and tourism operators developed wildlife-friendly guidelines for their activities. The penguin story had touched something fundamental in people's understanding of the delicate balance between human activity and marine life. As time passed, the Rehabilitation Center continued to receive updates from the tracking devices. The data showed the penguins thriving in their natural habitat, their movements indicating healthy behavior patterns. They had become part of the larger penguin community while maintaining their unique connection, a testament to the possibility of complete rehabilitation without sacrificing the bonds formed during recovery. The impact of their story rippled far beyond the Patagonian coast. Environmental organizations used their journey to highlight the importance of marine conservation and the devastating effects of ocean pollution. The image of a penguin nearly overcome by barnacles, saved by the dedication of its companion and human intervention, became a powerful symbol of both the challenges facing marine life and the possibility of positive change. Their story lives on as a testament to the extraordinary capacity for healing and the power of unwavering companionship. It reminds us that in the vast ocean of life, sometimes the strongest currents are the bonds we forge with others, transcending the boundaries of species and speaking to something universal in all living beings. Dear listeners, we hope the extraordinary journey of these two penguins has touched your hearts as deeply as it touched the lives of everyone involved in their rehabilitation. This story of unwavering loyalty, resilience, and the triumph of compassion continues to inspire marine conservation efforts worldwide. To be part of this ongoing journey of discovery and preservation, please subscribe to our channel and click the like button below. By joining our community, you'll gain access to more incredible stories of marine life and conservation, each one carefully crafted to bring you closer to the wonders of our oceans. Share your thoughts in the comments below. How has this story changed your perspective on marine wildlife? What actions will you take to protect our ocean friends? Remember, every day brings new stories of hope and healing from our marine world. Don't miss our upcoming episodes featuring more extraordinary tales of survival, friendship, and the remarkable bonds that exist in nature. Together, we can make a difference in protecting these amazing creatures and their ocean home.